Hiya, welcome to part 3 of my NaNoWriMo project, during which I design and draw my project side POV characters during the months of October and November. If you missed the announcement video, you can find it linked in the video and in the description, as well as a playlist with all of the existing parts of this project so far. But for now, I get to get started on Ryan. I also would like to apologize for the background noise. It has been raining for the entire weekend and this is as quiet as it's going to get, I'm afraid. He says and it immediately becomes quiet. I'm going to be honest, Ryan is the character I've been looking forward to the least. Even when I was writing him, his chapters were very difficult for me, and I always told myself that it was because he's the least self-inserted character that I have, so it was difficult for me to get inside his head. However, the longer I worked on the book for, the more I started realizing that he's more similar to me than what I originally thought. What I've basically done is stripped all of my negative qualities and put them into him, and not giving him any positive qualities to balance him out. And somehow that realization just made it even harder to work on his chapters. But we're not working on his chapters today, we're working on his character design, which is difficult for different reasons. Ryan is the one character that I have literally never described in the book before. I have some idea of what I think he should look like from a logical perspective, but I cannot visualize him in my head whatsoever. So I'm a little bit scared because I've got no idea what direction this is going to take. But I'm going to do the same thing I did with my previous characters and start with some brainstorming and just make a list of everything that I do know about him, and then we'll piece together whatever's missing. Probably the only thing I know about him for sure is his height. He is shorter than Thread and taller than Lisa, but I think he should be closer to Lisa and to Thread in terms of relative height. He's technically a soldier, but he's not particularly muscular and he relies on his brain a lot more than he relies on his physical abilities. However, I don't think he would be chubby either. He's small and quick and moves through the shadows easily, although he should be less unhealthily skinny looking than Lisa. Not that Lisa looks anywhere as unhealthily skinny as she does in my head in the drawing I did of her, but we're working on it. He is obviously a soldier in the same army as Thread, so he's gonna wear the same uniform that Thread does. However, I want the uniform to be designed for a different body type to Ryan, so I want it to look kinda loose and like not really meant for someone like him. But in terms of actually designing the clothes, we shouldn't need to do that again because we've already done it for Thread. He also sneaks around a lot at night, so just so that we're not repeating outfits, I think it would be cool to draw him in a cloak that he wears when he's like doing his secret stuff. At the start of the book, Ryan has a boyfriend whom I've described in a lot more detail than I've described Ryan. And that person is blonde, so I know that I don't want to make Ryan blonde because I don't want them to look the same. And for potentially slightly spoilery reasons, I also don't want his hair to be black. But Lisa's ginger, so I definitely don't want him to be ginger either. So I guess he has brown hair. Process of elimination, right? So I've got a surprisingly high amount of information already, which I'm happy about, but there's still a couple of things we don't know. Primarily the hairstyle, which seems to be a common trend. I never seem to know what my character's hairstyle looks like. I'm thinking to make Ryan as opposite to Thread as possible. Giving him slightly longer hair would work better, especially since I think he's a bit more worried about his looks than Thread is. Thread would be more practical and just sort of cut his hair and be done with it, whereas Ryan would put a bit more attention into looking nice. Not that short hair doesn't look nice, but long hair takes a lot more maintenance, is the main point. I've also been like back and forth on giving him glasses. He doesn't have glasses in the current draft, and giving him glasses would definitely be a big change because they would get definitely very in the way for the things I have in mind. He's gonna be thrown around a lot, and I feel like his glasses would probably break or fall off or get lost in various possible places. So if I decide to give him glasses, that's gonna be more than just a character description change. I'm gonna have to use them a little bit more, which to be honest might work really well if he loses his glasses early on and like it's just another source of mystery for him. But I'm not very certain on it, so I think I'm gonna keep him without glasses for now and maybe think about it a little more and maybe add them later. As with my previous characters, I've been asking my beta readers to describe how they see Ryan in their heads. Currently, the only person that's gotten far enough in the book to answer this question is Danni, so thank you Danni for giving me an answer to this. Now, of course, I haven't actually described Ryan in the book, so this is completely up to the reader's interpretation, and this is what Danni said. For some reason, my brain filled in Jester Smith for his character, so that's what I'm imagining him as. I'm gonna be honest, I had to Google who that was, but I don't think he looks like my current mental image of Ryan after brainstorming, so I don't think I'm gonna use this as such, but I mean, Danni's not wrong because I haven't described Ryan, so any answer he could have given me would have been correct, let's be honest. Either way, let's move into the other room and start doing a little bit of drawing and see if I can figure out the mystery that is Ryan's face. As usual, I started doing some portrait sketches to figure out what I wanted his face to look like. While for Lisa I had a semi-clear idea in my head, and for Stella I had a blurry outline, for Ryan I really didn't have anything to go on. I had notes on what I logically know that his character looks like, but I just can't visualize him. To get around this, I leaned very heavily on shape language ideas again and worked from there. So for Ryan, I saw triangles, and more specifically upside down triangles would be a good match since they tend to be used for characters that are a bit devious and conniving. This tends to come hand in hand with sharp angles, which can be used to imply that the character is stealthy, sneaky and fast. I was a bit torn about this since I really wouldn't say that Ryan is stealthy or fast. He is clumsy, he makes a lot of noise when he walks, especially compared to the proper soldiers surrounding him. But his mind is stealthy and agile. He is a very quick thinker, both when it comes to his actual semi-sciencey job and when it comes to manipulating people and getting what he wants. So I think sharp angles suit him even though he isn't physically quick. I seem to always find it easier to start with very exaggerated shape language and then tone it down a bit. In this case, my first attempt was described by my boyfriend as a blend between a Disney villain and an angry elf. So I quickly abandoned the idea of this curly hair that I pushed into an upside down triangle shape and used the shape language of his jaw to show that pointy triangle while allowing the top of his head to be a little bit more circular. I also tried to make the shape of his eyebrows imply a triangle, and I used a triangle for his nose, which even though it's facing up, it still helps to add to that idea. While I tried to follow the same approach with Ryan as with some of my previous characters, I hit a little bit of a snag on the road when it comes to Ryan. I've had a work thing going on for the last couple of weeks, which has meant a lot of overtime and lots of commuting time, which means that from Monday to Friday, I've basically been completely unable to work on these for the last 2 weeks. So what this ended up meaning for the project is that instead of having a full week to slowly work on Ryan's character bit by bit, I did brainstorming, sketch color, and shading all in the same day. Which, even though I probably dedicated about the same amount of time as I would have if I had done it during the course of a week, the amount of time I had between stages to rest and think about it subconsciously and just sort of get back to it and see it with fresh eyes was just not there. And because of that, I felt like Ryan felt very rushed in comparison to my other characters. When I finished drawing him, I just could not visualize his character with this face that I gave him. It was just something wasn't working about it and I couldn't figure out what, and I was really not happy with him. So I ended up shutting my computer down on Sunday evening knowing I wouldn't get another chance to work on this until the following weekend and just deciding, okay, I'm just gonna start from scratch next weekend, it's fine. And then on Wednesday I quickly opened my computer to do something else and I still had the file open and I realized that he's actually not that bad. Looking at him with fresh eyes without having just spent the entire day working on him immediately helped me see that his hair color was too light, so I darkened that up a bit, and most of the issues I was having with him, I think were just that I'd been staring at him for too long. So after I fixed the hair color, I decided that I actually kinda like this. There is still something about his portrait that feels a little bit off to me, but I can't figure out what it is, and I'm happy enough with him as he is now for first iterations. So I think I'm just gonna mess with the shading a little bit more because I think the shading needs more work around his hair, and then we're going to move on to his full body drawing. Hello there, long time no see. It's been a really long time since I worked on this project. I have been on holidays for the last week and a half, which means that I haven't been working on this for a really long time, and I kinda wanted to finish it before going on holidays. I did know that this was happening, which is why I started the whole project early and I had this week blocked off in my calendar to begin with, but I'm still behind and I was supposed to finish this video before going and then editing it when I'm back. Which didn't happen. This is as far as I got right before my holiday. So clearly not anywhere close to finish, but I'm hoping I can finish it in maybe 1 or 2 hours. The only thing is that it's been so long since I worked on this that I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with it and just a little bit scared. I can't remember where I was going with it exactly. I mean, I kind of have the bare idea, but I feel very rusty. I haven't drawn anything in a long time, and I'm scared to touch it because I'm scared that I will have forgotten how to draw, which happens quite frequently. Anytime that I don't draw for a while, I get like this feeling of anxiety over it, and then when I start drawing, I start enjoying it again. But as a result, I've been procrastinating starting on this for the entire weekend. It is now Sunday midday, which is... what have I been doing for the last day and a half? I don't know, but it wasn't this. But I think it's about time for me to just pull myself together and bite the bullet and get started, and I know that it'll be easier once I get the first little bit done and just get into it again. So I'm just gonna get my drawing tablet back out, remove all the dust from it and get it all set up and see if I can finish this drawing by the end of the day. Wish me luck.
How many mountains to get some confidence? How many debates to earn some tailwind? The years pass, I'm still the same. What will it take? Why the wait? Up and down, I'm losing ground. Pretender, tell me what to believe. I ain't got a sweet tooth for lying. Spender, show me how to succeed. My wallet is spreading thin. Oh, ooh, ooh, what to do? I am me and not you. Ooh, ooh, what to say? Please make the strain go away. Pretender.
I feel strange saying that I finished Ryan's design because I'm not happy with him, and I think there's more that I could do to make him better, and I think if I had more time I might just restart this whole drawing from scratch and try something else, because it could be a lot better. But it's finished for now because I do not want to repeat this again. This is just what we're going for, and I will redesign him at some point, just not this month. I ended up redoing his cloak from scratch, which... it's still not great, but it's a lot better than it was. I think I just need to study up on how to draw cloaks properly and do a bunch of studies and practice exercises and then go back and redo this. But yeah, he's probably my least favorite character so far in terms of how he looks, and he's also my least favorite in terms of my experience of drawing him. I only scheduled 2 weeks per character, but Ryan actually took closer to a month. This is including the week and a half that I was on holidays, but also some time at work where I had stuff going on and just couldn't work on him. So even if I spent the shortest amount of time in terms of total hours, he took the longest time to draw, and it was just really frustrating and slow moving, and it hasn't been the most fun. And I think I'm okay with his general ideas. He just needs more work from a drawing perspective, but also potentially I might change his design up a little bit because I still don't think he feels quite right. I am a little bit intimidated moving on to the next character after struggling so much with Ryan. I'm hoping he's going to be easier because I've got a clear idea in my head. I'm also hoping that things at work are gonna be calming down, which should help with actually be able to working on the next character in the evenings versus only being able to do it once a week. So that should help, but I don't actually know if things are calming down for sure, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this far. I hope that you enjoyed watching the video, even if I didn't entirely enjoy making it. I hope that Nano is going well for you, just a couple of days left. Let me know how close you are to your goal if you want to, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.